How's it going, YouTube? I want to talk more 2XKO, and I kind of wanted to talk about was the biggest complaint with the roster, that there's no like non-traditional, non-humanoid, freakish type characters. And so I wanted to kind of take the ones that I kind of grouped from League, just rank them in the list. F is please don't put them in the game. D is like I'm not the happiest, but we'll wait and see. C is like I'll just wait and see. B is okay, I'm happy. A is I'm really happy. S is I am ecstatic. It's kind of the way I'm gonna rank them. And obviously, please put Set in the game. They will be on every single tier list forever until he's in the game. Starting off with Aatrox, I'm gonna put Aatrox in A. Just like his namesake, I think he would be a really cool character. I would be really happy if he's in the game. I think he would work really well and be really cool. I don't think he really pushes that far into like the S of like a character I really love. So it's kind of one of those. I'm just gonna keep him in A. And then Alistar is gonna join him actually. I am a support player, so there's gonna be a lot of support bias in this list. I'm sorry, I'm really not though. Alistar does a lot of really cool things. I think Headbutt Pulve could be used really well. I think it's just a really cool design, and yeah, I think it'd be a fun character for 2XKO. Amumu is gonna be a C tier. I think Amumu is cool. I love its story. I think it's a very fun character. I just don't think it translates that well. I think its size is probably the biggest problem because like it's the half body size of most other champions, so I can see that really creating an issue. And then his bandage toss is like really the only cool thing. I think other characters just kind of would do what he would want to do, but just better. So it's kind of my read on Nivea. And Nivea is gonna be our first D tier. I'm not a big fan of zoners. I think they should be in the game. But I just think there's better zoners than a Nivea would be. I think the wall would not be fun. I don't know if the E would stun, so it's like, I think it's just, and then also I don't know what their normals would be. I think it would be a really awkward thing to try and balance around and like create a good character. So I'm just kind of saying, hey, I don't want it. And I think the same things applies for Asol, and even to a greater extent. I actually love Asol's design just like Anivia's. I think it's amazing, but I think it's gonna be too big. I think it's gonna be too clunky. I don't know. I just wouldn't really want Asol compared to a lot of other characters. I would not be super mad though if they get in. It's just I would really need to see like a good execution of them. And our first S tier is Azir. Azir is one of my favorite champions. I think it's an amazing design. I think it'd be a really cool puppet character. I think there's a lot you could do with like the shuffle and different things. I think it just could be an amazing character. And I do love pro play for League, so that's also where this bias comes in. I think Azir is just everywhere in pro and always provides amazing moments, and I think it could do the same in 2XKO. Now, hear me out. Bard is also going to be an S tier. I love Bard. I just finished playing a Bard game. He's super fun. I think he's a cool design. I think he can do a lot with the meeps. And I don't know how they would inherently make him like a really cool character, but I would still love to see them try, and I'll be very happy if he gets into the game. Bel'Veth, I think, is another C tier. I'm just not a big fan of Bel'Veth personally. So it's a cool design, and I wouldn't hate it, and I think that's why it's with Amumu. But it never hit for me, if that makes sense. Like, and I think it's similar with some of the newer characters. Like, I'm gonna put probably Nefiri in the same area, maybe a little bit higher. But like, it's just kind of the same thing. It's like it just didn't hit. It's like I understand it's like a cool design. It just didn't. I don't know. Something was missing. Speaking of missing, your ADC, Blitzcrank, is in S tier. I think Blitzcrank could be a really cool grappler. I also think he's going to be Champion 9. There's been some teasers. There was an Evo art piece that had a Blitzcrank teaser. Not necessarily for Champion 9, just as a hidden Easter egg. But I think having a grappler would be a good idea. And I think he would do this pretty well. I think him also being a robot would kind of like ease the frustrations of no freaks and stuff like that. So I think he would be a really good pick for Champion 9. I also think he'd just be a good pick in general, because like having a grappler in the game is cool. I think he does a lot of cool stuff. His knockup is obviously the get over here grab would be super cool. Cho'Gath is gonna be an A. I love Cho'Gath. I think he's super funny. I think you could do a lot of cool stuff with his stacking. I just think it's an amazing design. So I think they could do a lot with it. I think there's a lot of things you could do for the assists. So I think he'd be a great pick, and I'll be super excited to see him in the game. Cassiopeia is one of those that I'm a little bit lower on. I want to put in C tier. It's close to being a D tier, but I think as his owner, it would be cool. I think his design's cool enough that like pushes it up a little bit more, and I think you could do some cool stuff with it, like maybe like tail whips and stuff like that. I don't really know how you'd get it to work, but it could be cool. Corki is D tier. I just don't like Corki. I don't think it would translate that well. Just don't like Corki. Going back to A tier, Elise. I think Elise is one of those, and like I'll also say Nidalee just in the same conversation. It's a little weird, but they do have their forms that they transform into, so I kind of kept them in this list. I think having like the tarantula form, and honestly I'm just gonna put Nidalee here too, because they're both A for the same exact reason of having the form that they can switch into. That would be really cool. Kind of like a zoning poke into like a combo transform. Have like an enclosed tarantula or tiger form combos and stuff. I think it'd be fun. I think Fiddle would be B. I think Fiddle is a cool character. I think they could do a lot of cool things with the Scythe and Crowstorm and all that type of stuff. And he's just a weirdo too. And I think it'd just be a cool thing to see also in that Tuesco art style. I'd love to see their take on him. So it'd be cool. Joining him in B tier is Fizz. I'm not a big Fizz person, mostly because of ranked experiences where there's just a Fizz that goes and kills you and runs away. That doesn't mean he wouldn't be a cool fighting game character. I think I'm a little on the lower end because of I'm a support who just has to watch my ADC die because Fizz. And like there's nothing to do because it's like 10-1 at that point in the game. Yeah, I think Galio is gonna be another S tier. I also love Galio. I'm also a T1 fan, so you can see the faker bias in Galio's ear. Technically Bard, really, but I just play Bard too. I think I can zoom in more now. I think Galio would be really cool. I think he'd do a lot of cool things with his taunts. I think just having like the big body that is like, again, he's built for punching and stuff and has also some projectile things. So like, I think he just would fit almost perfectly in the mold of a fighting game character. So kind of just my reasoning. Gnar is gonna be another A tier. I'm grouping him literally with the transformations because I think having like a meter you could manage of like, oh, when you have to transform, I think it'd be really cool. I think it's just also a cool design, and maybe it gets Armut playing the game. Moving on to Hecarim. I think Hecarim's gonna be a B tier. Really cool design. I think the length would be a little janky. But like it's definitely get up there into the A tier, but I think I'd just be a little happy, not like really happy. Heimerdinger is at D tier. Don't like Heimerdinger. Arcane did a really good job of trying to make me like Heimerdinger, but I couldn't deal with it. Like it's leaning against those turrets, man. Leaning against those turrets. They're just everywhere. It's a nightmare. So yeah, no Heimerdinger. Also ruins ARAM. Another S tier. I promise there won't be the S tier will calm down for a little bit. Is Ivern. I love Ivern personally as a character. I think using Daisy as like a puppet fighter would be super fun. I think there's a ton of things you could do in terms of like assists with him that would be fun, and I just think it's a cool character, and having like a Dunk Master Ivern would be cool. You know, I get that skin. Karthus is another one of those owners that I just don't think would be the greatest, but I would still put C tier because I think it's a really cool design. It's pretty much the only thing saving it. Cassidy is another B tier. Might be a little bit of a theme here of just getting ganked and killed, but I think Cassidy is, and it might just be me not like understanding the character, but it was always just like kind of confusing a little bit in terms of like what it's supposed to be. But after learning, I was like, okay, this is cool. Just, it's one of those, again, I'd be happy, just it's not quite up there. Kennen's a C tier as well. I think it has a similar problem with Amumu. I also think the shurikens and the what's it? And like his ult, I think just wouldn't translate the greatest. Again, I think you could do some cool things with him. Don't get me wrong, but I think overall I would just kind of lean towards like, I'd rather other characters. Kha'Zix is also going in B tier. I'm just not a giant fan of the design. Like, it's just like, I don't know, it's just awkward in my mind. That's pretty much the only reason I'm putting it in B, because I think like its moves and stuff would work really well, but it's just like, I think as if we're talking about Kha'Zix, we can talk about Rengar. I think Rengar is kind of the same thing in terms of how it would play, but I just like Rengar's design more. I think it's just kind of cooler, and I think you do more with it. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. Again, both of them I would be happy with. Staying in line though, Kindred, I want to put in B tier as well, because I think I'd be happy with them, but like they're still a zoner, and I think just of the zoners in this, I think Kindred would probably be my favorite, but I wouldn't inherently be like that happy because again, I'm not really that much of a zoner player. Kled is C tier. I just don't like Kled. I'll be honest, I've never been a fan. I don't know, there's something about it, and I think it's something with the mount kind of just like being awkward with the gameplay. I don't know, just never clicked with me. Kog'Maw is going to be D tier. I just don't think it'll translate well. I think the passive wouldn't work well. The normals wouldn't be there too much. I don't know. It's not there for me. Cool design though. I do like Kog'Maw as a league champion, I will say. Lilia, I think Lilia's a B tier. I think they could do some cool things with them, but I wouldn't inherently be like, oh man, I really want Lilia. That makes sense. But I definitely would like Lilia more than these characters down here. I'm gonna put Lulu in B tier. I've been subject to propaganda in the DOSCO Discord, and I'm okay with Lulu B tier. That's, I think, the highest I'm gonna let them go for now. But you know, top three. You know, it's in the top 3. Malphite, I think, is just a C. It's like he's just a rock. I don't know. I don't think there's much special about him. I think R could be cool, but that's really it. Malzahar, I don't like Malzahar. That's just a personal preference. I know he could have like kind of the puppet voidlings and stuff. I just don't like Malzahar, so he's going there. I do like Maokai though, so Maokai's going to B. I personally enjoy Maokai. I think the saplings could be a cool setup thing, kind of like Kimberly grenades or like Blanca-chan, stuff like that. So could be a cool character. And then like his Q could be a knock-up or something, a combo starter. They could do some cool things with them. Nefiri, as I was talking about earlier with Bel'Veth, is going to be a tier higher because I think having like a dog like character similar to Okami in MVC3 would be super cool. But I don't know. There's something with these like the newer characters a little bit that I didn't click. Like, and it's not all of them because like I love Milio. And like Loki, I think Ambessa is awesome. I think the jam design is subject to different critiques or whatever, but I really do like those champions. But I don't know, just Nefiri just was a little bit of a miss. But even then, I still kind of recognize it's a cool design. Nautilus, I think Nautilus is an A tier. I really like Nautilus. He's fun. Just having the hook that can go cross screen and all that would be cool. I think his E would be a cool thing too. Like I think every part of his kit would work into a scale. I think just smacking people with a anchor would be kind of sick. Nami is going to be a C tier, pretty much only off for design. I think the design is really cool. I just don't know how it would work in a fighting game. So it's like, again, I'd like it more than these guys, but really I can't put it higher than C tier. Nasus I think is another B tier. I think Nasus is cool. Or sorry, Susan. Susan's cool. But I think it just kind of lacks, I think, a lot of creativity I would like with it. Because again, if you look at his kit, it's very, very, very simple. So I would wonder how there would be a lot more of like freestyle with the Tuxedo team that they'd have to do. And I'm just not a giant Susan fan in the first place. Nocturne's going to be joining them. I think Nocturne has an amazing design. I think they could do a lot of cool things into SKO. I think the ult would be like have to be some sort of super like horror type thing, but I think they could do something really cool later on. Going on to Nunu. Nunu is a C tier. I think only because the way I think of Nunu, I think of like a Ferritor from Mortal Kombat. And I think they could do some really cool stuff with Nunu, but I would just need to see it. And low-key though, getting Kesha to play the game would be kind of fun. So if that's what it takes, maybe I might be thinking of putting it higher, but I think C tier's fine for now. Moving on, Ornn's actually an A tier for me. I think Ornn does a lot of really cool things. I think his pillar could be cool, having like the hammer that you kind of use to beat people up with. It's a cool big body. His ult would be fun. A charge could be cool. Like some sort of pillar combo setups would be fun. Maybe it's just biased. I'm an Ornn enjoyer, so it's going there. Poppy, I think it's gonna be the highest placing Yordle at A. I don't know if Narsa Yordle. I should look that up. But I enjoy Poppy. I think her hammer is really, really cool. I think you could do a lot with her. I think her dashes and stuff. I think you could do a lot of cool things. And then I think it might be easier to size them up a little bit where like it would work into a scale. So that's just me. Another S tier is Rammus. And hear me out. He's just goofy and I love him. I think he's the perfect kind of weirdo type character for this game. He'd be super fun. A ton of like different, like you could think of it like a Blanca where it's like kind of the Blanca ball. You do stuff like that. But for me, the thing I would want more than anything is having like a Bryant taunt cancel type thing with the okay emote. And so you just have Rammus like in mid combo, just say okay, and just keep comboing you, and like that'd be awesome. Just chef's kiss, perfect. Moving on to a character I'm less passionate about, but I still think it's cool. Rek'Sai. I think Rek'Sai could use those tunnels really well. I think it'd be a really fun character to have. I think again another really perfect weirdo type design. I think she is awesome. I think she's fun. I wish she was better in League, but it's just never been a character I could play like in my lane necessarily. So Renekton, also an A tier. I think Renekton's just really cool. The Croc has a lot of cool stuff in his kit. I think his weapon's awesome. I think again a pro play staple, would get a lot of the old heads in and on board. Again, another weirdo, and I think it'd be just a cool addition to the game. Rumble, I debate putting Rumble in A, but I think I'm gonna put in B because again I think I like him more than other Yordles, and I would still need to see what they do with the kit, but I think they could do a lot of fun stuff with him. So just gonna leave it at that for now. Sejuani. I think Sejuani is also a C tier. This one was like a weird one to like putting on the list, but she does have the pig that she rides on, so that's kind of the entire reason. I don't know. I don't really vibe with it too much. I think there's characters that do similar things that would be cooler. Like I don't know. I'm not gonna put it lower, but it's honestly closer to a D tier. Skarner's an A tier. I love Skarner. Skarner's funny. I've definitely been influenced by the Captain Flowers propaganda of Skarner. But I have learned to love that champion. I think giving them the crab rig emote was awesome in that rework. It's been fun. I enjoy playing it. I think they could do a lot of cool things with the little crab scorpion hybrid. Shaco. I'm putting Shaco in C. I do not like this champion, but I think it could work in the game. I think in League it's so toxic, but I think in 2SKO it could be like a character saving moment for Shaco for me. Shyvana's gonna be an A tier. Shyvana I think has a lot of cool stuff with dragon forms, and again I just kind of like the transformations to a lot of the monster characters. And just like it's a giant dragon, like that's awesome. Sign's gonna be B. I think Sign's a cool design. I think zombie form could be cool. I'm just more like, it's whatever. It's just not my favorite, but I think it could be cool. And again, also kind of if we're talking streamer things, getting Baus to play potentially would be kind of cool. Soraka is gonna be a D tier. I think they could do a really cool kit with Soraka. I just think it wouldn't be Soraka at that point. Unfortunately, so I just don't think they'll ever get in the game. But if they do, I would be intrigued, let's say that. I think we have 2 more S tier. I might have 3. Tom Kench. I love Kench. Unbenched Kench. It's just a super cool design. I think having like maybe an alt kind of break thing you could do could be super cool with his eat. But it's just like a giant catfish. Like that's awesome. I think they could do so many cool things with Tom Kench. Teemo's F tier. I think Teemo's gonna be in the game. I want to make that very clear. I think he's gonna be in the game. It's still gonna make me sad. Thresh. I think Thresh is C tier. I think Thresh is like an S tier design. I think in the terms of a fighting game, I think I would rather have other hook champions at this point. Like I'd rather have Pyke, I'd rather have Blitzcrank, and so I think I'd rather have Nautilus if you're considering him a hook champ. So I think that's what put Thresh lower. I would still be kind of happy, but like I would really need to see how Thresh plays if I would like him in the game or not, and that's kind of why I put him C tier. Tristana is gonna be a D tier. I don't like Trist. I think there's better ADCs to go in. Malphite's right there, so Malphite could do the same thing. I don't know. I've never been a fan. Trundle, solid B tier. Having the pillar could be really cool. The club just to beat some ass would be super cool. Also having it against Darius would be a really cool thing for the game. Yeah. The rat is also D tier. I do not like the rat. I think invisibility is a hard thing to put into a fighting game. I just think it wouldn't work overall. Yeah. Urgot. I think Urgot would be a B. It's close to an A, same with Trundle, but I think Urgot, I think just falls a little bit short of like characters I really like. I would be worried about the gun kind of being awkward and like again normals and stuff. Vygar is very close to being F tier with the cage, but it's just being saved. I think it just wouldn't work. And it's weird because like I'm a Final Fantasy fan, so like I would love Vygar to kind of appeal to me with like kind of the black mage type fantasy. It just never hit. I think it's supposed to because Cage kind of feels toxic, but that's just me. Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz is an interesting one because me and my friend were talking about this. I think it could be B. I think I'd be happy with Vel'Koz. I think they could do a lot of different stuff if it's not a zoner. I think if it's zoner, it goes down to C. But like if you do something more like a Shumagorath, or like my friend even said like make him a grappler, like that could be really cool. So I think Vel'Koz gets a little bit of a jump, but it's like it's hovering to C tier. Vex, I think is the same problems as the other ones. I'm just not a big fan. Volibear, this is the one I was I was not sold on. I think Volibear's an S. I think Volibear's a really cool design. I think you can do a lot of different really cool things in 2SKO with him. And yeah, I think it'd just be kind of like that perfect. And maybe I'm influenced by Tekken with the bears, but I think that could be a cool thing to put in for 2SKO. Warwick, I think it's gonna be a B. I think there's just other people that kind of do the same power fantasy. And just I think there's other ones I'd like, but I think Warwick's still cool, so I wouldn't be mad. Wukong is another S. I think Wukong is just a really cool character in general. I think they could do a lot of different things in terms of it being a fighter. So I think it just worked pretty well. Xerath is a D tier. I think that'd be a little too toxic, a little too zony. Yeah. Cool design though. Yumi is F tier. Yumi is just disgusting. I do not want that champion in my game. Please Rito. Save us from Yumi. Zac! I think Zac is C. I think Zac's just a blob. Unfortunately. So I think it kind of just ruins it a little bit of like, I think it could do, actually, I might put it B. I like Zac a little bit more than these champions. I think I'd be happier with Zac than any of these. So Zac gets a B, but it's just a blob, so it's like I can't put it higher. And then Ziggs I think is a B. I think unfortunately for Ziggs, it suffers of the problem that it's just would be a zoner, and I don't think the normals would work that well. And I think there's just other ADCs that you could make zoners better, like Jinx. I think Jinx is the perfect example of like, I know she's like kind of a hybrid zoner, but I think like there's things in ADC's kits that would work better comparatively. So that's just me. So yeah, this is my full list. Kind of a longer video than I was expecting, but there's a lot more non-humanoid characters in League than I kind of remembered. I would love to see any of the S tiers soon, but please put Set in the game. That being said, if you got this far, holy shit, thank you. I really appreciate it. Let me know your picks in the comments, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night.